5. So if I say number 1, you do one of them, number 2, so on. So we'll start off with the stretchy bits while we wait for a few more people to join. So if you stand up, shake yourselves out, and then we're going to start with some split squats in Streamline. In 3, 2, 1, go. The split squats, plant your feet, go up and down, and then we'll switch legs in a second. Good. So get your elbows crushed, squeezed onto your ears, and then switch legs now. So put your other foot in front. And keep your feet glued to the ground. So feet glued, and then you go up and down. So if you look at my legs, like that. Really push your elbows onto your ears. Try and get your fingers as close to the ceiling as you can. And stop. Then we're going to go down into thread the needle. So hands and feet on the floor. Remember, elbow touching your knee. So if you look at me quickly, elbow on the front of your knee. Reach around. Again, I'll tell you when to switch sides. So pick a side, rotate up and round. Try and look at the ceiling when you go round. And stop. So remember, make sure that your hips are touching your feet. Make sure your elbow is touching your knee. So Brennan, if you have a look at me real quick. So put your elbow on the front of your knee like this. So you're kind of balled up like a hedgehog. And then rotate that way. That's it. Nice one. And then if you all switch sides. So again, some of you have seen this one, some of you haven't. Okay, Charlotte doing a great job there. Lily looking good. Okay. Emily and Will, awesome. Make sure your hips are touching your feet as well. So you're nice and small. And then look at your elbow when you rotate. And then stop. While you're there, we'll do Skep Press. So ideally, knees off the floor. But you're just going to push your hands through the ground and get your spine up nice and high. Off you go. So another 20 seconds on this one. If you can, go to press up plank position, take your knees off the floor, and then push your hands right down through the floor. Try and stretch your back. Okay, I'm just going to flick through the screens, see how everyone's doing. Luke looking good. Well done, Flavio, and stop. Then this one, if you all stand up again. How's it going, Ellen and Elizabeth? Same as yesterday, guys. If you want to make comments, let me know about shoulders, knees, etc. So, windmills. Oh, I need to see myself now. Yeah. So windmills, stand up. Hands over your head. Reach your left hand down to the outside of your right leg and rotate. You go back up and then you switch to the other side. So if I'm wearing Adidas trackies, I'm trying to draw the back of my hand down the 3 lines. Let's keep going. Make sure you come right up into Streamline. So Pranas, if you stand up in between, so look at the camera with your hands over your head, and then you reach down, back facing the camera. That's it. If you feel more comfortable, you can bend your knees just a little tiny bit. So hopefully you feel a stretch in your hamstrings and your upper back while you do it. A little bit longer. Okay. Well done, guys. If you finish on an even number, and then from there, we're going to go walk out into downward dog. So from where you were, touch your toes, press up plank, push your hips into the air. That's it. So glue your feet to the floor, basically. Walk your hands away, hips into the air. And before you finish the walkout, remember, so who else can I see? That's it. So Brennan, if you copy me, go into your press up plank. hips in the air, go back to press up plank, and then walk your hands back towards your feet. So glue your hands there, push your hips up, then go back to where you are now, and then walk back. That's it. Good, just means your upper back gets a bit more work done. Relax. Okay, then if we go lying hamstring raise, most of you should know this one. So lying your back, one leg straight, other leg bent. The 6 on each side. Try and reach your heel. Imagine if you had a string attached to your heel. It's like someone's trying to pull your heel up to the ceiling and just reach as far as you can. Cara, yes, of course. If you want to do the twist in the downward dog, then you can, if you prefer it. I thought I would just keep it separate. So on your back, everyone, 6 raises on one side, 6 on the other one. And I'm very aware some of you are more than mobile enough to pull this off, but some of you still need to practice. Molly, if you can, try not to hug your leg. And that way you can tell if you're improving. Just really reach your heel as close to the ceiling as you can get it. Good. So Luke, same for you. Yep, there you go. Try not to hug the back of your knee. Okay, Ayla, good job. Once you've done 6 on each side, stop there. And then we'll do iron cross. So while you're there on the floor, one leg straight, as you can see me, so one leg straight, other leg across, and then switch. So you're going to do 6 on each side. Make sure your arms are out, straight. Try and keep your shoulders pressed onto the floor. So if you stop now, 6 on each side, so flavio lie back. And make sure that whenever your leg goes across your body, your shoulders are glued down. See, Scarlett's gone off the camera, but I know she's doing it right because I've seen her. Hannah from County B, great stuff. So you're trying to get an alternative because of your knees. Isabel, what are you trying to replace? Is it the iron cross? I might have missed it. I've just seen. Oh, some of you are doing a great job, but then when I've got to say your name, it's switching around. Right, so stop there, grab a drink. Again, make sure you've got a drink nearby. Make sure you've got enough space so you don't clobber each other or break any furniture. So today's warm-up drill is you're going to be jogging on the spot. And then we'll start small. I'll do a couple of rounds of it so we can make it a bit more complex without anyone feeling lost. You're going to start with number 1 being a hop, just a little jump. So when I say number 1, you go from jogging to a jump. 2 will be touch the floor with your left hand. So a little on my right on the camera. And number 3 will be touch the floor with your right hand. Simple enough. So if everyone's had a drink and we're good to go, we're going to start with 30 seconds in 3, 2, 1, go. So knees up to your hips as you run. And number 1, so just a little jump. Good. Remember when you land, keep your knees apart. Number 1 again. Pop up. Number 2, so right hand down. Yep, keep jogging. Number 3. And then we'll go 3 and 2 and 1. We'll stand up in between and then jump. Okay, stop. Great. Now if we go number 4, that's going to be a dead bug. Okay, so you're going to drop to the floor, squats, other exercises. Okay, so Isabel, as long as you're fine with jogging, we haven't got any squats on today's one until hip. So let me know if that's okay. Ready to go. 3, 2, 1, go. So you're jogging on the spot. Make sure your knees come up high. And number 4, dead bug. So drop down, quick double dead bug, stand up, and then start jogging again. Then we'll go number 1. Well, remember, guys, number 1 and number 4. So quick, drop down, dead bug, stand up, and Isabel, so if you take your time, make sure you don't hurt your knee. 1, 4, 3, 2. Some serious agility on this one, guys. Well done. And stop. Okay, now we'll add a 5th one. So with the 5th one, we're going to go a drop lunge. And you're just going to switch around. Okay, so if you're looking at me, you look at my jog. Number 5 is that. So 5 would be left knee down. Number 6 would be right knee down. Isabel, you could do a press up. So if anyone has got issues with knees and lunging, etc., just do a press up instead, or a shoulder tap. So you can go left hand or right hand. 3, 2, 1, go. So jogging, let's go. Number 5, so drop your left knee down. If you've got the time, drop into Streamline as well. So number 6, right knee down, hands up, and then back to jogging. Good. Number 2, number 5, number 3, then 6. Oh, Flavio's lost the plot, but he's still going. I love it. Okay, 4. I want to see if you remember, because I've forgotten. Number 1. Yep, well done, Isabel. Dead bug. Number 1. So jump. This is the last round. Then we'll get the session started. Do all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So jump. Left hand down. Right hand down. Dead bug. Oh, quick, Robin. I think you're going to be first to finish. Lunge, lunge. Yeah. Great stuff. Grab a drink. Well, my goal here is to have everyone need to take their hoodie off so they can breathe. That's not true. So today's session, bit of core work, hip work especially. All you're going to really need here is something to lift your back foot. So if we're doing hamstring bridges, let's see. It doesn't look like they've got stuff. If you haven't got anything, I've got this armchair here for the hamstring bridges. So foot up, so I can lift my hips off the ground. If you don't have one, you can just do single leg glute bridge. And then we need to do roof elevated squat. So similar thing, if you're doing those, something that is about the same height as your knee. Doesn't have to be much higher than that. So we can do single leg squats. So anyone that can't do squats, we can just do extra core work there. So we'll do side plank, left and right, instead of rear foot squat. A hamstring should be okay, but if it's not, let me know. So we're going to start off with reverse crunch. So that's where you're trying to get your hips up off the floor. Let me just make sure that I can see myself. Okay, so with this one, it's not like leg raise. You're trying to crunch your lower back off the floor as well and control it down. Ready to start? Last chance, let me know if you've got problems. If something comes up in the middle, just let me know. 3, 2, 1, go. So reverse crunch. You're still mad. Oops. That's it. So try and reach your toes up, touch the ceiling, and then slowly come back down. Okay. Hand up and regional squat. Great job with that. Molly, try and push your feet a little bit higher if you can. Like really straight legs. That's it. Brennan, great job. Kira and Isla looking strong there. Try and come down a little bit slower than you go up. Flavio, don't worry, I've done that loads of times. Okay, Sophia, excellent speed going up. Just try and come down a little bit slower. So up, hold it. Awesome. And stop. Great job. Hamstring raise. So left leg first. Remember, if you're struggling, you can just shift your hips a bit closer to your seat. 3, 2, 1, go. If you don't have something to put your foot on, then just go with a single leg glute bridge. So I'm going to do them with you so I can look at the camera. if you want to make them more challenging, keep your hips off the ground for the whole thing. So Flavio look really good. You can see everything there. Just make sure your hips don't touch the floor until the end of the set. So you've got another 10 seconds or so. Okay, so Sam, if you can, try and stick on one leg for now, and then we'll switch. And stop. Okay, so if you're alternating to keep you fresh, that's fine. But if you want to push yourself, try and stick on one leg and then swap onto your right leg in 3, 2, 1, go. And the longer your leg is, the harder it'll be. Sophia, if you want to make it more challenging, try and take your hands up off the floor so you're not tempted to push into it. See if it feels different. If that's still too easy, try and do a 2-second hold. Okay, looking good, Danny and Sophia. Very well synchronized. If you're still looking at me while you do it, the longer you hold at the top there and then come down slow, the harder it's going to be. Some of you are frozen, not to worry. A couple more seconds on this round. And stop. Good job. Then it's Superman plank march. So I think we trialed this one yesterday. So if you want to stay on your knees, you can. We'll start with the Superman, and then you can progress it into having your knees off the ground. 3, 2, 1, go. So Superman march. Make sure your heels don't come any higher than your hips. Okay, so Neve, well corrected there. Charlotte, if you try and reach your foot behind you, so if you look at me, it's the difference between doing that and that. So it's like you're kicking behind you. Awesome. And then just try and slow it down a little bit. If you're strong enough and you want to challenge yourself, try and take your knees off the floor. Okay. Great job, Lucy. Robin, you're so still, it looks like your camera's frozen. Well done. And stop. Okay, good. Flavio, next round, I want you to try with your knees off the floor because that was excellent. Next, it's Alekna. So this is dead bug for those that can't manage Alekna, or having a bag or something on your feet. So 3, 2, 1, go. So set up. If you had something, so this thing's full of heavy things. I've got up my shins. So the idea is the further your feet go away from you, the harder it becomes to keep your back flat. That's it. So feet and hands up. Keep your body flat on the floor from your shoulders down to your hips. If you have a foam rollers are pretty challenging as well if you haven't used them. Okay, a little longer. That's a fat stack of books, Elizabeth. And stop. Okay, back to the beginning. So reverse crunch. With the Aleknas, guys, so if you've got your swimming bags nearby, that works too. Or if you've got a foam roller, try putting it between your knees. So you're squeezing as you push your feet away. We'll go back to reverse crunch in 3, 2, 1, go. Eleanor, you look confused. It's all right. So feet in the air, get them as high as you can, and then slowly come back to earth. Poppy, great control. Just try and keep your legs straight when you're in the air. So keep them straight, slowly come back down. Great. Okay, good stuff, Scarlett. Sophia, nailing it. Good idea that. If you've got something to hook your hands under, it makes it easier to pull your hips up and relax. little break. We're going to go left hamstring raise again. So if you were switching feet in between reps in the last round, this time I want you to try sticking with one foot until I say switch. 3, 2, 1, go. So put your other foot up in the air. Doesn't matter whether you've bent it or kept it straight. So neither think you're doing glute bridges, just make sure your toes are off the floor. So if you pull your heel into the ground and just have your toes sticking up, it makes it a bit harder for your hips. Okay, Ali from County C, same for you. If you lift your foot up so it's just your heel touching the ground, should make it a bit more challenging for you. But your height was really good and your hip control was fantastic, so well done. And then we are going to stop there. Switch feet. So right leg in 3, 2, 1, go. See who am I looking at? So Dylan, if you want to make this a bit more challenging, it works pretty well if you have your shoulders up on a seat. So if your shoulders are high, you get more range to work through, or you can put your swimming bag or something on your hips, just so you know. I've nothing wrong with what you're doing at all. Okay, halfway there before we switch feet again. So Hannah, County B, make sure your hips are going up and down. It's a raise this time, not yeah, that's it. Beautiful. Good hip control. Okay, good. Isabella, well done. Ruby, are you unconscious? Right, stop. Oh, no, there you are. Okay, then it is Superman plank march. So try it without your knees on the ground. Doesn't matter if you fall over. It's all about trying. 3, 2, 1, go. So start a normal Superman. If you do it one piece at a time, it's a bit easier to pick up. So if you take your foot off the floor and then slowly start trying to take your hand away, it makes it easier to develop. Just make sure, Scarlett, great job. Okay, well done, Neve. Yeah, there you go, now you're getting the idea. So if you can take them both off at the same time, that's great. But if you're trying to develop it, good stuff. So Flavio, for you, if I get you to take one foot off the ground, set yourself up, take one foot off the ground. Yep, excellent. And now slowly start trying to take the opposite hand away. Yep, that's it. This makes it a bit easier to build up on. A bit longer. 3, 2, 1, relax. Okay. Good job, Poppy, well done. So last part of round 2, we're going to Aleknas again. In 3, 2, 1, go. So the longer you hold that bottom position, the harder it will be. So I've got a big fat case full of DVDs. Cables to go over my head. The more you hold that long position, the harder it's going to work in your stomach. So you want to do these as slow as you possibly can. Okay, good. I know some of you've got foam rollers. It's a good one to practice with. Okay, Adiras, if you keep your feet up above your knees, it makes it a bit easier to hold the books in place. Okay, Christian, is that a med ball? It's a great job. Stop there, guys. Well done. So last round. So if you guys, anyone that's using books, just look at my feet quickly. It makes it a bit easier to control. If you just make sure that your heels always stay level with your knees. So remember that. You're going to go reverse crunch one more time in 3, 2, 1, go. So it gets really, round 3 is what you said, finish me off. Remember, you're trying to have your hands across your chest or hooked under something. If it's easier, push your hands into the floor so you can go up and come down slowly. Probably find the more tired you get, the more you want to push through your arms. Okay, nice. So Sophia, you've done a smashing job. Put your hands on the ground this time and see how slowly you can get your hips to come back to the ground. So 3, 2, 1. Yeah, there you go. Is that a bit harder? Yeah, thought it might be. Relax. Then left hamstring raise. So how can we make this a bit more challenging? Figure it out in 3, 2, 1, go. So like I said to Dylan, if you have a table you can put your shoulders on, you're a bit higher off the ground, that makes it harder. If you want, you can try and switch from one foot onto the other one. So it's more like an elevated march. Hips are up. Or you can put your feet further away from your body. So Neve, if you put your foot a bit further away from your head, that'll make it a bit tougher on your hamstrings, as long as you can still squeeze your hips. See, Robin's going for a very straight leg march there. That's, my hamstrings are burning just thinking about that. Good. Scarlett's a really high box, well done. Isabella, great tempo there. And stop. So then we're going to go onto the other leg. 3, 2, 1, go. Remember what I said in round 1, if you can keep your hips off the floor until the round is done, it's going to burn a little bit more, but it means you get a lot more work done. Okay, Danny and Sophia, if you count to 3, get to the top, and then count to 3 before you come back down to the bottom. So 3, 2, 1, yeah, there you go. And then if it starts to burn too much, you can just go closer to your sofa. It's very nice, by the way. Okay, last few seconds of the final load of hamstrings. And stop. Sweet. Back into Superman plank march. In 3, 2, 1, go. So if you want to make this harder, you could always do it the other way around. So if you do it hands and feet on the floor with your stomach to the ceiling, and then try and go, even I can't do that one convincingly. And then the longer your legs are from there, the harder it'll become. So Robin, try and hold that for a second. If no, go back to the normal one. Try to go up and then hold your leg, hand and leg off the floor for a second. Oh, not a bad idea. Okay, 3, 2, 1, stop. Good job. Very brave. Then Alekna. So that's part of round 1. 3, 2, 1, go. So maybe you don't have to load your hands and feet if it's too tough. You can always go with one and alternate. So if you haven't got anything that, if you find that you're spending too much time managing the bag, just do normal dead bugs. So Sam, if you want, just do normal like that. Okay. Let me find Elizabeth and Eleanor to make sure Eleanor's head's still in one piece. Yep. You haven't eaten a textbook yet. Oh, I jinxed it, sorry. Relax. Okay, good job everyone. So we're going to move on to the second half. It's a lot more emphasis on core control here. Who can do wall walks? And more importantly, who can't do wall walks? You can do wall walks. Okay. Right, I'll give you one visual demo so you've got a bit more time to rest here. So I'm keen to see this one because I've never seen you all practice it. I've seen some of you do handstand walks around SSP. So remember, press at plank position, feet on the door. If you can't do walks, just try and do a hold. So if you can lift your feet up onto something, so the sofa, hold that position, then try and kick one foot into the air. So be a bit more like this. But at least you're fixed in place. Your foot shouldn't shift. And obviously you want to make sure you're supervised if you're not confident with it. Okay, Pranaz, great job. Right, we'll start off then. In 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, good start, Emily. So if you try and just kick one foot into the air, see how that looks? And make it really long. So try and push your heel away from your head. Okay, great job, Amelia. Well done. Switch feet in between. Make sure your chair doesn't move either, and then we'll stop there. Cool. Then it is rear foot elevated squat. So if you've got something you can hook your foot up onto, whatever you were using for your hamstring bridges, start now in 3, 2, 1, go. So obviously the higher your foot is, the harder it's going to be. If you've got a bag or something, you can hold that in front of you. That's going to make it a bit more challenging as well. Arabella, Eddie, and Hugo having a great time. 3 of you in one session. That's awesome. Okay. Isabel, if you can do side planks. So you're going to go side plank left and then side plank right. We'll relax there. So you're going to go onto your other leg now. In 3, 2, 1, go. Switching sides. So Isabel, for this one, I'll tell you when we're halfway. But just do side plank. Oh no, right, there we go. So remember, you can go streamline. If you have bands, you could have a band under your lead foot. Savannah, have you gone with a front foot elevate? That's really cool. I haven't done them in ages. So yeah, if you want to make it more challenging, guys, lift your front foot as well as your back foot. You've got more, you'll need to have more flexibility in your hip, but it will be good for you. 10 seconds. Good, Finn. Try and keep your hands off your leg while you're going. 3, 2, 1, stop. Next one is flutter kick. Oh, I forgot diver. Okay, flutter kick in 3, 2, 1, go. Isabel, for this one, if anyone has feels their knee during flutter kicks, just bring your legs a bit closer to your body. So you're trying to have a long leg. If that hurts your back too much, bring your legs a bit closer. Just make sure that one knee goes higher than the other one. Okay, looking good, guys. Okay, Veronica, try and get your foot down to the ground as close as you can. Yeah, that's it. Your speed doesn't matter so much. It's just about controlling. Well, Flavio's feet are blurred into one. Relax. And then divers. So we should have started on this one. But remember, straight a leg as you can get. If you haven't got if you feel unstable, hold on to the side of your sofa. 3, 2, 1, go. So we're going to do 20-ish seconds on one side and 20-ish on the other one. Okay, very good, Bella. Very good. Then you're trying to reach your heel behind you. So Emily and Will, if you wanted to, you could even use your sofa. So if you look at me, put your foot on the sofa like you did during the squats. And then practice doing it that way. Okay, switch legs. Other side now. Lucas, that's very impressive. Try if you can, hold at the bottom for a second. So like one pause and then back up. And stop. So this should be feeling pretty challenging after doing the hamstring bridges. That's why we've done it. Back to the start then. So we'll go wall walks again. Ready to go in 3, 2, 1, go. Reese, okay. Which one's really hurting your knees? The squats. If it's the squats, Reese, do side plank with Isabel. If it's flutter kick, do sit up and twist. And same thing for divers. If it's not flutter kick, but it's divers, just do that instead. Nice, Joe. Nice recovery, Arabella. Hope you're in one piece still. Relax. I assume it's Arabella. You're a little bit far away. Okay, Serena, great job. That was awesome. Then we're on to rear foot elevated squats again. So 3, 2, 1, go. So yeah, if your knees hurt doing this, just do side planks instead. Okay, cool. It was that, Reese. Nice one. Sorry, if I missed your message before, I've just seen it. Okay, good. To try, if you're struggling with these, you can always go forearm plank. If you're doing sides, we've done them a lot this week. Or try and do leg raises. Make sure your wrist is underneath your shoulder as well. So it's like that compared to this. And stop. So switch over now. Other side if you're doing planks, and other leg if you're doing squats. 3, 2, 1, go. So other one, remember Streamline. Use a band if you've got one. If you've got your swimming bag nearby, hold your arms out in front. So it's like a mix between a zombie squat and a split squat. And if you wanted to as well, you can have your front foot up on a cushion. 5 hours disappear from the camera. Oh, Tegan, with a Swiss ball. That's awesome. They were really good for you building up divers as well. If you hadn't tried that, if you're trying to do a diver with your foot on a ball. Good tempo, Bella, well done. And stop. Then flutter kick. In 3, 2, 1, go. Tegan, seeing as you've got a big old Swiss ball, try and do flutter kick Swiss ball marches. So if you have your feet, imagine if my chair was the ball, have your hips up, and then kick into the ball. Give that a shot. To make sure it doesn't move, maybe push it into the sofa. Okay, keep going, guys. It's going to be much more of a hip and hamstring thing. Okay, last 10 seconds. 2, 1, relax. Okay, then divers again. So, like before, if your knees hurt doing these, just do sit up and twist. So that's when you fold your left shoulder towards your right knee and vice versa. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's see. So, Lucas, you're going to pause for a bit at the bottom. Savannah, that's awesome. Okay, those that are finding them too easy, try and throw them into a airplane as well. So diver at the bottom, then go airplane, and then try and go back towards finishing the diver. Okay, Veronica, that's a great idea as well. So if you prefer doing this with a bent knee, you totally can. That's actually how you normally do them. I've switched it. Swap legs. Charlotte, which you just said, wall walks, I will tell you. Okay, so other leg. Finn, good use of the wall, man. Okay, Pranas, we try the wall with this one as well. So put your hand on the wall and then try and aim your foot towards your doorway. Yep, so straight leg, hinge down. So push your foot towards the wall. Yeah, there you go. That's it. And then try and practice without. And stop. That's right, Cara. Right, one more round. So you're back into the wall walks. If you can't do wall walks, just do incline press ups. So 3, 2, 1, go. If you don't have any room, feet up on another surface. So slightly easier version of push-ups. Still, you're not going to have quite as much balance, but you're going to work more upper body strength. So you're not really losing out at all. Okay, so Amelia, that's really cool. If you want to make it more challenging, as long as it's safe, if you bring your hands a bit closer to that wall, you'll be more inclined. So you'll have to move your feet a little bit slower. Yeah. And then try and tuck your chin a bit so your head's inside your belt. Yeah, that's it. So you're going to be looking at the wall. And stop. Was that harder, easier, about the same? Cool. Right. Room for elevated squats or side plank. 3, 2, 1, go. So remember, you want to make sure your foot's even just a little bit higher up off the ground. It doesn't have to be higher than your knee. It could just be like a couple of textbooks. Okay, good streamline, Alice. Okay, the tag's been cut in half, so I can't see. And Alice and Oliver, nice one. Oh, I know you're competing with each other. So if you wanted to, you could also do this as a rear foot elevated jump. So stop there. Okay, so for the sake of balance, you might not want to try this if you haven't done both legs. But 3, 2, 1, go. So the next time we try this one, you can have one foot behind you, drop down, catch yourself, and go again. So it's quite a good way of building up explosive strength in both your legs on the row. So think about when you're on the blocks, you want to be trying to push evenly through both legs, even though one works harder than the other. Good. Knee, even going to challenge you. Try and see if is your knee okay? Oh, you've gone off camera. Oh, there you are. So you find it too easy. Let's see, Sophia. Oh, nice jump. Try and stay tall when you do it. So lean right back. 3, 2, 1, relax. Good pace. Next, it's flutter kick. 3, 2, 1, go. So remember, it's not about having the highest turnover of your feet. It's about squeezing your core and feeling it as much as you can while you're there. So if you wanted to, you could do a streamline flutter kick, have your hands over your head, lift your shoulders up a bit. Okay, keep it going, last few seconds. And relax. Okay, Poppy from Junior County, that's a really clever way of doing it. If you start to get tired, guys, push your hands into the ground and support your back a bit. Then divers. In 3, 2, 1, go. So I'm going to use this wall over here while you're all doing it. So nice from Robin. Robin, if you look to the direction you're twisting, it makes the airplane a little easier. Yeah. So if you can't balance, if you're kind of wibbly wobbly, put your hand on the wall. Makes it easier to hold there. And then you can just try and build it into Streamline when you feel comfortable. Switch legs. Good. So Cara, if you forget the airplane for now, just try and reach your foot into the corner of your living room there. So aim with your heel, that's it. Like there's a magnet inside your sock and it's pulling your foot behind you. Yeah, there you go. Cool. Couple of seconds and relax. Good job. Right, I've got a much better idea of how we can play around with some of these movements now. Okay. Holly, how was that? Was that all right? Good. So cooling down. We're going to go look at another couple of hip things today. So grab a cushion for your knee. And remember, from this position, if you try and grab your heel, I'm going to need some padding. So I'm using a slipper, but you can use a mat or a book. Grab your foot. And then to get the hip stretch, I want you to try and push your hips forward. So you're not just sitting like this. You're actively, imagine someone was kicking you in the bum and you're like trying to push yourself this way. Keep your stomach tight. Emily, don't laugh at that. You can laugh if you want, I don't mind. So really push, squeeze like you're doing on, like you did on the glute bridges. So you should feel it. You should feel like your hips are working really hard, but then it will make a stretch in the front of your hip. Okay. Good position, Ellie from County C. Nice work. Okay. Sarah from County B, great position. Try and push your hips forward a little bit harder and pull your belly button back towards your ankle. And then stay up tall. Switch sides. So if you find that you're starting to lean forward a bit, don't worry about you holding your foot. Just try and push your hips. Okay, do you feel that a bit more? Okay, we can see you now, Ruby. Crack on. Okay. Kira, if you try and take your elbow off your knee, that's it, and then push your hips forward a bit more. So try and keep your hips in front of your shoulders, basically. So if you look at me again, when you're pushing your hips forward, you want your shoulders to be behind your hip. Yeah, that's it. Relax there. Then hamstrings, we're going to do lying hamstring raise again. See how tight they are compared to the start of the session. So the one we did at the beginning, go again, just do 4 on each side this time. So one leg at a time, take your hands off the back of your knees and just reach your heel up. Good. Okay, Sophia, if you try and keep your knee where it is, yeah, that's it. So I think I caught the back of that. It looked like you were going up and down. So Elizabeth, try and get your heel a bit higher. Yep, good attempt. Okay, stop there. Okay. Okay, Scarlett, sorry, I'm not sure how some of you got kicked out, but thanks for letting us know. Okay, hamstrings done, 4 on each side. Show of hands, who feels more flexible than they did at the start of the session? So when you first did those earlier, yeah? Okay, quite a few of you. So that's why you need to do exercises to keep you mobile. Stretching on its own doesn't really help. You've got to do the training to make your muscles strong so they don't tighten up as well. Otherwise, we would just do stretching and not land training. So now we go on to hips. I'm going to show you pigeon stretch. So if you line yourselves up with the camera, like I am now, most of you know this, but I'm going to make sure everyone learns at the same pace. So split squat position. So if you all copy me now, I can see most of you. So those of you that know pigeon stretch, you can just crack on. Those that don't, if you look at me, I'm going to move my right foot to the side and then come down a bit. So I'm trying to get my shin, so my knee's pointing at you, my foot is going off to the side. So there's a right angle at my knee. Okay, good. If you find that your heel keeps coming towards you, put your hand behind it. So if you look at my camera again, if your foot does this, put your other hand there. If it's too uncomfortable, let it drift a little bit, but you're just stopping it from moving. Switch sides. Let's see. Christian, good posture, well done. Okay, Veronica, very impressive. I'd probably break my hip if I got that low. Okay, and oh, stop. Then lats. So usual one for this, hands elevated. So I've got hands on the table. Push your head through the gap and push your hips back behind you. So from there, if you look at my camera again, it's more about pushing my hips backwards than just throwing my head down. Let's see, Savannah, that was a perfect demonstration. Well done. Okay, Serena, same for you. Great job. And then remember, try and do the twisting as well. So you're trying to get your chest to go side to side. Make sure you're looking at the ground. Okay, so idea is if you put your hands on the sofa, if you turn around, so you put your hands up on the sofa and do the exact same thing as before. You're trying to push your chest down to the ground, but with your hands stuck on the sofa. Cool, and then stop. And then most of you look like you're using a sofa or something anyway. So we'll go chest stretch, but the new way I've been showing you. So using, right. So that's the edge of my coffee table. Hand up on that. And just drift backwards and forwards. And try and get a bit lower each time. So start in Superman position. Rest your whole forearm. So you want your elbow and your wrist lying flat on the surface. So yeah, Hannah, same for you. If you put your whole forearm on the edge of the sofa. And Sophia, for you, if you come up a little bit higher, so get your body close to your elbow and then drift backwards and forwards. So you want your wrist to go above and then below your shoulder. Yeah, that's it, Hannah. And then switch sides. See, I'm going to set myself up on the other side now so you can see what it looks like. So forearm up. Forwards and backwards. Then try and get a little bit lower. As long as you feel that stretching around your shoulder. So Veronica, you might find it easier if you do it standing. So I won't be able to see you quite so much, but if I'm using, okay, the radiator's turned off, so it's fine. That was not. So door handle, hinge forward. Means that it doesn't stretch your shoulder quite so much. I know this is really awkward, isn't it? I can use the top of my TV, but I don't want to break it. Or hamster cage, perfect. Hamster cage there, I'm standing up. So if you think about SSP or Spectrum, like the edge of the spectator stands. So if you were on poolside and you want to do this stretch, you would just rest your forearm on the top of that and go backwards and forwards. Okay, leave it there. Thanks for joining in, everyone. How'd you all find that? Yeah, good. Remember, any feedback, guys, let us know. If you've got ideas for games, tell me what they are so I can rip you off and give you full credit, obviously. And if you've got ideas for exercises, if people are doing running, etc., and you think you want to do some calf stuff,
just post in the comments or email us and we'll work it into the sessions. All right.